Sorry to be getting such a late start to the day there, folks. It's been kind of an interesting morning around here, uh, getting some stuff squared away and getting the kids where they need to be. And I've been reading through some of the transcripts. I read through the criminal complaint against Brendan Dassey last night, and I read some more of his March 1st statement. And folks, I'll admit here, I hit about page 75 on that bitch, and then I skipped through to the end because I was just so disgusted with what I was reading. And I decided to get to the part that wasn't shown to jurors, which is when Barb comes in and Brendan tells her they got to my head. And I find it to be very lacking on the part of the defense that they did not insist that final portion of the tape be played for the jurors. I think that would have done a very, very good job of illustrating the point that this young man had diminished mental capacity and was unable to really fully comprehend what was going on. At one point during the video, at the end of the interview, he asks them, can we have this done by, X time? And they said, well, why? And he says, well, I have a project due in 6th period. At this point, the kid is still thinking that he's going to go back to school because he's fed them what they wanted. And he knows that he's given them what they wanted. So he's thinking, okay, I gave you what you want. Why can't you go the fuck away now? Then I was reading through the transcripts, and I noticed that at some point he tells the investigators that they shot her in the garage on the ground behind her Jeep near the rear wheel of the Jeep. This is the interview that was officially entered into the record. This is where they pulled a lot of their information with which to charge Brendan Dassey and Stephen Avery. Well, here's my question. Folks, if they shot her on the ground next to her car, where's the blood on the tires? There would be blood not only on the tires, but on the entire rear undercarriage of the vehicle. Spray, people, spray. High velocity spray. Would have gotten there. Hello. At another point, he says that Stephen received the first phone call from Jody at 5 or 5:30, and that the second call from her came about 10 minutes later. And that is easily verifiable as false. So why the fuck didn't the defense use this to strengthen their case? Obviously, he was coerced. He wasn't there. He doesn't know what happened because he didn't get a lot of very significant details even close to correct. And see, here's the thing, folks. When you break down the Brendan Dassey case and you break down his confessions, the fact that the evidence does not bear out any of the narratives that he's fed to the prosecution, the whole case against Stephen Avery starts coming down as well, because that's primarily what they charged him based off of, was Brendan Dassey's coerced confession. And when you start taking apart one, the other one starts to fall apart like a fucking voodoo Jenga tower. Because there is nothing that bears out this story. Okay, fine. Yes, a Toyota RAV4 key was found in Stephen Avery's bedroom on the 7th search with Detective Link in the room at the time that the fucking key was found. Now, there have been some pro-conviction supporters that say no, Link was nowhere near that fucking crime scene at the time. I call bullshit. There is actual documentation from the Manitowoc County Sheriff's Department that bears this out. So if you're going to fucking talk shit, you might want to do your damn research first. Secondly, The blood inside of the vehicle that matches up to Stephen Avery. You know, folks, I've seen on some of the forums and on some of the comments on media coverage of the case that all purple tubes have a hole in the top. That's how the blood gets in. You think the defense didn't do that kind of research to find out if those fucking tubes have a hole in the top? First of all, if there's going to be a hole in the top, it's going to be centered. That hole is off center, dumbass. Second of all, not all purple top tubes have a hole in the top. Duh. I mean, you can't really state something like that unequivocally unless you know the procedures of that particular collection or the lab that did the collecting. You can't. I'm sorry. And if the defense got that hyped up about it, there's a reason. And the reason is that there wasn't supposed to be a fucking hole in that top. Now, people have said that Avery was hiding from police at some point. Well, first of all, he didn't hide from anybody. He went up to his family's fucking cabin. Second of all, I can't fucking blame him, to be quite honest. He had a bunch of cops crawling all over his damn property. Of course he's going to fucking go the fuck away. They made him nervous. He spent 18 years in prison because of them. I don't blame them. I don't blame him at all. And second of all, there was an Avery who hid from police, and that was Earl Avery. Why? Now, I've also seen on some people talking about the Avery's criminal history and blah, 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 and that's why they were so reviled. And yeah, okay, fine. I'm not denying that the Avery family had their legal troubles. That does not mean that they are guilty of murder, and that does not mean that they should be ruled guilty of a murder that they did not commit. And even if that Avery family did, Brendan Dassey didn't. He did not have a criminal history at all prior to this. And I'm sorry, but the research shows that you basically don't go from, no fucking criminal history to full on fucking rape and murder with no lead in. I'm sorry, but it just doesn't. And, like I said, Stephen Avery spent 18 fucking years in prison. I doubt that he would have been so stupid as to not only commit a crime on his own damn property, but leave evidence hanging around that would tie him to said crime. And all of his other crimes prior to this, okay, yeah, he threatened his wife, Lori. Nobody's disputing that. Not even Stephen Avery disputes that. He and Jody had a fight that he ultimately ended up, being involved with the cops for. Whoopty shit. And all of his other stuff, these do not add up to murder's the next logical step. It doesn't. It doesn't, folks. I'm sorry, but it doesn't. I've had some commenters say, oh, you're still on the Avery thing. Yes, I am. I am still on the Avery case. God damn it. And I am on it because this is a travesty. This is a miscarriage of justice of the worst fucking kind. And if it happens to one, it can and will happen to another. And how fucking long until it fucking affects everybody? All right? I'm a mother. I have 6 children. I have to think about shit like this. So, and I've heard of this theory of Ed Edwards potentially being involved in the crime. Now, I don't know very much about Ed Edwards. I don't know very much about that specific, theory process. What I do know is this. There is a certain formula that you apply to homicide investigation. It was not applied in this case. And right now that is what I am doing. I am applying that formula that they should have applied from the get-go. We'll see you next video, folks.